and charging at the same time. This is going live, guys. I'm just setting up for anybody who's joining this now. You know the drill. Always wait till a few of you have logged on before I actually start talking about it. Hello, Steve Erickson. Hello, Simon Butler. I know not a lot of you stick around for these streams, but hello anyway if you are, and if you fancy a chat. I'll be talking through most of this, as I always do. How's it going, Mr. Butler? How are you? Hope you're all sitting down enjoying your dinner round about now. Maybe having a cold one. I've been off for a few days because it being the Easter weekend. I don't know, it's not exactly what we all planned, I'm sure. Good stuff. I know it's not what we all planned, but at least the weather was nice for the most part of the country, and I hope you all had a bit of a kind of in your garden barbecue party like we did. We had the tunes playing, was grilling stuff. Good fun. There are some upsides to this. At least people are saving a few quid. At least people are able to sit and have a drink with the families who've got at least living with them. So anyway, I took a few days off. Dane has continued his streams nightly. I hope you guys have been checking in for that. Aaron's taking a little bit of time off Facebook at the moment.
In jail.
But I'm sure he'll be back pretty soon with another live stream. Yeah, I took a few days off because I was just enjoying the sunshine too much. I wanted to be in the garden. I know you were too. But I'm back now anyway. Just trying to think what's changed, what new news I've got over the weekend. It's getting weird out there, I know that for sure. Been out briefly today to go to the shop. Went to the chip shop. A couple of them open round here. Had to dash to the post office while I was out, and it's still very strange out there, but people are starting to come to terms with all this now, so it's normal to see people spreading out and people not clustering too much or moaning about it, which is nice. But anyway, we've still got a while to go, so whilst we're all locked down and that, I'm going to continue doing things like this, because at least it just gives you something to break up your day. And like I say, Dana's going to be having his chats nightly, and a lot of people have been joining in for that as well. So make sure you do join in for those. I'm still looking for suggestions of things to stream. So if you've got any suggestions of things you want to see, whether it be classic retro games, whenever you want to be a retro chat, whether you want to see something to do with the Next. I mean, I am doing a lot on the development on the Next at the moment. Nothing terribly interesting other than sprite work, because that's about as far as my capabilities go. But if any of you want to see some of the development for Revival Survival, you can tune in and check that if you really want to see it. But yeah, I mean, I put a bit of news out last night. The Spectrum Next team have decided they wanted a demo of my game to go into the distribution. So it's been 2-level demo has been submitted now. It's still being continued to be worked on, but it means that now in the next distribution you'll be able to download and play my game. For some of you, that'll be the first chance you got to do it, because the only place you really see it is on my streams or at our shows, which obviously we only do 1 or 2 a year. But yeah, our game for the Spectrum Next is on its way, and now you'll all get a chance to play it instead of just hearing about it in my videos. You'll get a chance to play it for yourself. So today what I've got for you is following on from my video last week where I did the original Golden Axe rather badly on the Megadrive. I was playing with a rather shitty, laggy Bluetooth controller, and I played it terribly. Well, I've got my box arcade in the house now hooked up. This is the one I use for events and everything, so I know it's pretty stable, and I'm going to be playing on that, because I do find because I've got a bad left hand, it means I can play better with arcade controls. It's easier for me to play with the joystick, so I'm going to be playing Golden Axe 2 on the Megadrive to follow it up, and we'll see how far we get on this. So let's just fire it up. Now, I know most people play the original Golden Axe, not quite as many played the sequel or know that much about it, but I'll try and go through and talk to you about some of the differences. And in order to make things a little bit easier, I am going to be invoking a cheat to add a few extra continues onto my jaunt through. Hopefully I've got a better chance then of actually completing it on my own. So we'll try and do the cheat now. Right down to options. There you go. You can see we've got 8 credits in the bottom corner there. You only usually get 3 or 4 credits. I'll explain the cheats and a few little tricks afterwards, but I did that just so I could have the extra credits to go through the game. As with the original game, I'll be playing as Tyrus Flair because she's got the strongest magic, and that does go a long way to help you through the game. She's also got the better dash attacks over Axe Battler, and Gilius's magic's just too weak to get through this, so let's go anyway. So you get no pre-story on this one, it just goes straight into the game, but the graphics, the controls are all very similar to the first game. We've got jump, we've got attack, and we've got magic. The biggest difference with this is you don't have to use all of your magic in one go. You can actually you can hold the button down and control the amount of magic you use, which is quite handy if you want to play the game a bit more varied or a bit more tactically. You can pick up and throw the enemies and throw them in either direction on this one, and you can throw them into each other to damage them. It's a little bit of a faster game, it can handle more enemies on screen at once, and it's still got a pretty cool soundtrack and everything. The downward stab on this one is still there and slightly easier to hit the enemies with, but it's not quite as destructive as it is on the original, so off we go anyway. So you can see I'm just slashing at him there, but I can grab him, turn around and throw him whichever way I want to if I want to. I'll try another downward stab in a second. You can make contact more often with it. The enemies are a little bit smarter on this, but your jump's also a lot more controllable, so you can control how far you fly, you can control your jump a lot more, so it does make using the downward stab a bit more effective in this game. Instead of the imps in this, you've got these little wizards that actually give you your magic, but they can actually fight back and attack you, so it does present a bit more of a challenge, and when you've got a lot of enemies on screen, they can be a real nuisance. The dashing attacks are good because you've got a bit more of a kind of momentum bounce off them once you make contact, so you can see there, throwing them into each other becomes quite effective. First enemies are very slow, but later on there's a lot more varied enemies. You've got lizard guys and all kinds of things which make it difficult. And of course you've got the dragons to help you on your way on this. The dragons not nearly as effective on this, I wouldn't say, as they were on the original, but still do help you. They do have quite handy dashing attacks which are a bit more effective. And I will be taking that off him shortly. First dragons, of course, just got a kicking move, a bit like the tail sweeper in the original chicken leg, but it also does a dashing kind of mouth attack which goes through them rather than stopping dead, so you can have several enemies at once with it, which is handy. Like that. A little bit of screen tearing. I haven't got the emulation option set up properly, but shouldn't detract too much from the way it's being filmed here. The direct feed, it might annoy you a little bit. And we're coming up to the first boss. So, first ledge to deal with, and obviously you don't want to be anywhere near that. And I still nearly went off the edge there. And that's my dragon gone. I was hoping to hang on to him. Well, here we go. Now, there is a glitch you can effect which makes this game way too easy. I'm not going to do it because it's just completely copying out. I know I've added extra extra continues to it, but I'm not going to cop out by giving myself infinite magic because that's just cheap beyond belief. So I'm just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Attempt to anyway. The dashing kick's a lot more risky on this than on the original because the big guys can knock you out of it a lot easier than they could on the original. It's still the safest way to deal with these big guys if you haven't got enough of a run up or enough magic left. And like I say, when I was playing the original last week, I was playing a crap controller. I was finding it very hard to do dash attacks at all because doing taps with my hand doesn't work very well. So, but with the joystick, it's a lot easier for me. And obviously, this is an arcade-inspired game. The original being an original arcade game, so it's much better suited to playing with the joystick anyway. How's it going, Barry? Nice to see you, mate. How's it going, Dana? Lucky boy. Yeah, I was not falling off the edge. Music's really cool on this game. Perhaps not as iconic as the original, but still cool. Tried to get away with that there. Failed miserably. Got it that time now. Like I say, the downward stab's not nearly as devastating on this as it was originally. But it's still, time it right and it can do you a lot of favours against the big bosses. So be careful on this one, the guys get up, they can do a lot of damage to you rather quick on this. They've got a very fast recovery time. And like I say, even those damn wizards can give you trouble just trying to get your magic. The tail sweeper on this is slightly different. He swipes behind him first, so if you're setting up for an attack, it's best to be facing the other way. And he actually swipes both sides on this. Not the best dragon on this game, unfortunately. Now you can see there, I've got full magic, and there's actually a magic book there, which would normally go to waste because there's no way I'd use full magic against just one skeleton. But thankfully on this, because you can control your magic, I can do that and just use one block of magic. So at least I'm getting a free hit and then I can collect the book afterwards. Great tactic when you're fighting the bosses because you can just use as much or as little as you want to. I don't think there's any enemies on screen here, so this is kind of pointless, but I might be able to get out using one. How's it going, Ethan? Skeletons not nearly as dangerous on this as they were on the first one either. There's a lot more skeletons on this game, but instead of the swords on this, they all carry scythes for some reason. So a lot more like the iconic figure of death, I would suppose. But instead of rather than just plain skeletons, you've got grey skeletons, white skeletons, even pink skeletons. Don't really know how that works, but yeah, they're bright pink. Now it's time to move out of the way there. But again, just playing it safe here with the flying kicks. When there's two of you, you can resort to more different tactics, but just trying to get through this game and hopefully not make a mess of it like I did the other night. The first of the pink skeletons, I think, turn up here shortly. The grey ones first, though. Obviously, the downward stab really come into effect there. There we go, smashing them nicely. There we go, bright pink skeletons. Very weird. So we can trap them up this corner again. Oh, bad move. I didn't really want to unleash all three at once. Oh, I'm making a mess of this. I don't think you ever had 3 skeletons at once on the original game. You only ever had 2 skeletons, I think, any one time. Not as dangerous, but still can hit very fast if you're not careful, and they can also knock you out the air with shocking regularity as well. Especially if you're missing an attack. It's very easy to misjudge what kind of plane you're on and miss-hit them like I just did, so you've got to be careful. Anyway, first boss coming up. Sorry, second major boss coming up. And we'll unleash the top magic. So skeletons ain't a problem anymore. Just a big dude to worry about. These weird headless knights with inexplicably jagged edge swords, which would do nothing really. We do have a back attack on this game. It's not the twisting sword swipe you had on the original game though. It's actually a backflip for her like that. Not that effective mid-game and a little difficult to pull off, but there if you need it anyway. And it can hit the people in front and behind, so you have to remember you've got it sometimes. Again, you've got slightly weak enemies still at this point, but 4 at once does make it a bit different and a bit more difficult to deal with. Easy as they are, if you get ganged up on, just like any brawler game, it can be game over pretty quickly, so have your wits about you. There's also a third game in the series for Golden Axe. That's something not many people did see. I don't believe Golden Axe 3 got a Western release. It may have got an American release, which I don't think it got a European release. Unlike this, which very much uses similar sprites and similar game engine to the first one with a few tweaks. The third one had a couple more characters, but you lost like Gilius, Thunderhead, Axe Battler and that. You got a lizard guy and some weird big dude. Not quite the same game, didn't feel anything like these, and to be honest it went on far too long in my opinion. There's a couple of tricks you can do again to con more magic out of the wizards, but again, not going to bother with that because I shouldn't really need to. Again, ledges are your friend. If you can grab them at the right time. Quite a few enemies I can send off the edge here, so I'm going to be trying to do that without walking off myself. I say being able to hit them one side and turn around and hit them again definitely helps you when you've got ledges available. Obviously the purple coloured characters are a lot more dangerous than the grey coloured ones we were just facing. Goodbye. Another ledge I can try and use. Just try not to get hit off myself. There we go. And again, another dangerous bit coming up. It's where you first encounter the lizard guys. The lizard guys are some of the most dangerous in the game. I'm going to try and avoid using my magic because it'll come in handy a lot more on the next stage. Risky, because I could lose a couple of lives here, but the magic's more important, to be honest. You get them cornered like that, it helps. Their little tail swipe knock you down in one hit like that. Bit of a problem. More difficult to hit them with the downward stab, so not always worth risking. See, that get out tactic there did help me for once. Got a feeling I'll lose a life here though. Could do at least killing one, it'll make my job a bit easier. Got quite a few hit points, these guys. It's one gone. 2. Damn it. Hoping I'd get him. I was all set up then to hang on to a life, but there we go. But this is where I use the cheat to activate the 8 continues. Not so bad right now, but in the later stages, definitely a problem. No point even attacking them, I've got full health now. That could have been annoying. Oot! Kick you in the face. Not doing too bad so far. I've lost a couple of lives unfortunately, but once you get to this cave it starts getting a lot more difficult, so I'll try and lure them up here one at a time. that was close. That was too close. And again, I've got a magic down here I can use in a minute, which I will do. In fact, I'll use my magic twice here. Her first 3 magics do all the same damage, so you might as well just use them one at a time. And you can see there's 2 bucks I can pick up once I'm done with these. I can lure those off the edge there, but I'm not going to just yet. Oh, he's walked off of his own accord, so thank God for that. There we go. Oh, lucky git. Still, got him in the end. Oh, 1 more magic there. Oh, 2 more magics there. I knew those 3 were going to get up, so I might as well hit them all in one go. Can't damage them until they stand up, so let them stand up and then punish them. Oh, I forgot about the 4th one, man. You can tell it's been a while. Not played this game for, oh, I don't know, quite some time now. I think me and Aaron might have played it at the one of the Southwest Amiga group meets not long ago. We certainly didn't get too far because it's an event and you're doing other things like drinking and socialising and whatever else. So crowd control always feels a little easier on this than it did on the original. Like I say, you still got to be careful, but the AI being different can work to your advantage if you know how to manipulate them. On the original game, you tend to find one would try and attack you while all the others backed off. You can manipulate that, but in this, they change a lot quicker. Again, these lizard guys you've got to be careful of. If you can isolate them and fight them on their own, definitely helps your cause. Messed up the dashing stab there, but you stay over there. Saved myself a bit there in the invincibility frames while I was throwing him. Oh, got them both here there. You can actually, if you get them both in a crouching position, you can actually throw 2 or 3 enemies at once. Unfortunately, the old trick from the original one where you can hit them on a higher up platform from being slightly below doesn't work as well on this. It does work, but you're not as invincible as you were in the original game, so best not to try and rely on it. Damn you, lizard dude. I think I might be using up the first continue very soon. So you time it right. There's a sort of stagger you have to do, which allows you to get above them with the downward stab. If you get the stagger just right, you actually con them into attacking. I really want this dragon, so he needs to go away. It's the first one you get that breathes fire. Obviously, the flame breathing dragons, by far the best. There's only one type of fire-breathing dragon in this one. There's no fireball dragon, just a straight flame. Although it doesn't make quite as pleasing a sound as the original. Sounds like a high-pressure hose rather than a flame. Still, just as damaging. And I can obviously hit 2 or 3 enemies at once if you got them clustered. Never seen this version, Dave. There's only one version of Golden Axe 2. I don't think this was ever ported to any other platform, including Master System and that. If you just mean you've never seen this game, then yeah, it did pass a lot of people by. Oh no, I want that dragon. That was close. Oh, damn it. If I'd have dashed, I'd have been hit anyway, so really wanted to hang on to him, but okay, we've got to go old school then. it. First continue lost. Unfortunate, but expected, to be honest. Like I say, if I played it recently, I might have got more clued up on what enemies were coming up, but it's fine. See, the back attack not as effective on this. They can easily knock you out of it. Definitely want to use my magic here. Oh, I haven't even got full magic, which is a shame. Phoenix, yeah. Some great graphics for these. Never seen me on the first one, Dave. Well, you have now, mate. If you've never played it, try and play it somewhere, because honestly, it's a great game. Not as good as the first one, but then again, not all sequels are, you know what I mean? The idea with game sequels, they were always supposed to beat the predecessor, but didn't always work out. But yeah, definitely check this game out. If you love the first one, you'll like this. I mean, don't even think about Golden Axe 3. It's not worth losing sleep over, I wouldn't say. Some people love it, I can't stand it. So I'm sorry guys, I won't be playing that one. There was a remake made for, I think PS2 or PS3, or well, I say a remake. It was a pseudo sequel, but it was crap. So, as most games attempting to make the bridge into the new dimensions then were, unfortunately, they could never get the same feel, and they couldn't evolve the gameplay of these arcade classics enough to justify, you know, them being a new generation game. Damn it. Her short sword range is very short, that's her only downfall. You know, her kick range is great. Her back attack, not bad, but her actual sword swipe range, not as wide as Axe Battler's and way shorter than Gilius's. So you have to get right inside them before you start attacking. And even then it doesn't work. I mean, I was doing a downward swipe then, which is unblockable on the original game, not so on this. That helps. But again, when you got to juggle 3, it's easy to get knocked off. Try and keep him over there, that should help. So you can't walk up that passage then. Until I say so. Really need to hang on to him for this stage, because there's some quite difficult sections with big guys that you really need him for. Gotta watch out for that though. Like I say, even your magic dude's giving you aggro on this one. You won't give up those books very easily. Got him. I mean, I had a backup dragon in that one, but if I'm going to have one, I'm going to try and have the one with the flames. Again, good opportunity to knock people off here if you play it careful, not dash off the edge like I've done too much in the past. Always good to slightly get yourself out of position, because when they first get up, they've got a few seconds of invincibility, a few frames, and you don't want to be there for that. Try and keep that one on screen at least. That way when these big guys come in a minute, I can use at least one book. On them. Forgot about him first. Time this right, there we go. At least I get one free hit with the magic. I've got a feeling I'll lose my dragon here either way, so yeah. Hard to keep them at bay on this, unfortunately. Sometimes they can get straight up and dash at you, in which case you'll lose your dragon anyway. doing my best here just to keep him round that corner. Hopefully I can deal with him now. Try to anyway. Like I say, it's a bit more difficult to tell what plane they're on this one. Just got to time it perfectly. There we go. That helped. I am going to deal with them one at a time here because if I can hang on to the dragon for this boss fight, it will definitely help me out. Because this one can be a bit of a pisser. So I'll try and keep one round the corner, like that. I'll deal with the other one. Damn it. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Now such thing as intelligent AI on these doesn't get more difficult the better you do, but one little slip up in timing and that's all it takes and you've ruined your plan. There's a few more guys before the boss. Yes, there is. Even though the boss music started, the boss doesn't come out just yet. These guys are quite difficult anyway because they move a lot faster than their grey counterparts or even their purple ones. Oh, those are vicious claws they've got there. It's better. Let's charge up that magic. Definitely going to need it for two of these guys. If you mistime a hit there, these guys will really punish you. Good news is you can throw them into each other like that. I was only off by a couple of pixels there. And as you can see, managed to get the drop on me with that shield swipe. Good thing is these guys can't run, unlike the Bad Brothers on the original game, so, or the Knights on the original game even. So, count the good graces. There we go. Strength nowhere near as high as it could be at this point. Still, 7 credits left at the moment. We're getting into the final stages, so should help. Obviously, I'm going to need the magic in a second. Don't know why there's not a proper intermission between those stages there, but at least you do get a couple of the wizards here to pick some of your magic back up at least. You know, they were saving memory or something. Should have been an intermission there, it would have made a lot of sense. First time you see the lizard guys in a proper colour there, in green, seems more apt. Ooh. Dodge down my way there. That's how dangerous they can be if you mistime things. The blue dog-headed things, a lot more dangerous. Move so much faster. Again, best way to deal with them, keep your distance, dash attack. Not the fastest way. Definitely one of the more safest if I could actually dash properly. Because they get too close, I'll pick you up like that. Oh, I've done it again. Like I say, downward stab would be an advantage here because of the way they fall just off screen on this stage. You can't get above them to do your downward stab. So it's not a good tactic to use, even if you're moving to the left hand side there. They always end up slightly off screen, so you can't really corner trap them as well. Oh well, dealt with anyway. It's a great game, Dave. It's one of those games, again, you kind of every so often you'll pull it out and just, you know, have a game with your mates or whatever you've got round, you know, good 2-player session on this. Always good fun. Definitely on par with the original. I'd never say as good because it'll never be as iconic, but Definitely got a few more moves. Feels a bit looser than the original, which might be more to some people's liking. Always a risk trying to get those lizard guys near the edge, because if they just tap you with that tail, it can be game over. Have to do with two of those big guys, as you can tell by the portcullises at the back. This won't be an easy section. As you can see. Damn it. Probably lose a credit or two here. Could keep them both on one side, it might help, but not easy to do. They've got a lot of range with those maces. When you miss-tap like I just did. One thing about having a gammy left hand, it makes tapping movements rather difficult in a hurry. Nowhere near as good at games as I used to be, unfortunately. That's why I tend to play more casual games now. Well, I tend to play games just on the whole more casually. The ones I used to be really good at and could beat blindfolded now takes me a lot more effort to play. But at least when you've got controllable difficulty and customizable controls, it makes it a lot more easy for someone who's cack-handed like me. Good boy. Oops. Good boy. Yeah, and I know you're getting up as well. Just do it. Don't think you can actually knock him off there? No, you can't. He still kind of stops at the edge of the screen there. Damn it. Got him with a downward stab though, which helps. Oh, that was nasty. How often you get hit by those guys. Double teaming me. If I use that to kill them, it should give me an extra book. For at least one of them. Oh, maybe not. Worth a try. Thought I might be able to get away with keeping one book on screen to deal with these guys. Yeah, and if I can keep them all up there, it'd be handy. Ah, shame. Oh, really didn't want to be there for that. Still keeping them grouped. Now having to deal with 3 at once, just for 2. Definitely going to help my cause a little bit. See that higher level trap there doesn't work because you can still swipe them and kick them. That glitch has gone from the Megadrive, unfortunately. A few more skeletons to deal with in a minute. There's a few more pink ones or grey ones. Ah, the bronze characters. Oh, I wish the corner trap would actually override any attacks going on against you. You know, like it does in Streets of Rage or something. It doesn't. I've got to be careful here because I've got 2 major bosses to fight at once. This is the final sub-boss, and then there's one more boss after this. Final boss on this game called Dark Gould, as opposed to Death Adder. No! One more continue gone. And now he's going to get off his throne because the screen's scrolled up. Might get away with it if I don't cross the centre of the screen, actually. Oh, so I'm risking losing a lot more lives by staying over in this little tiny pokey bit here. And I definitely don't want to use my magic on him because I need it for the final boss. Anyway, here we go. Forgot about the lizard guys just coming to join him. Still, throwing them into each other definitely helps. But definitely don't want to get hit by that sword too often. Downward stab definitely coming into play here. Oh! Oh! He needs to back the fuck up, man. Come on, get me out this corner. Ah. Ooh, that was risky. That's why you don't try the downward stab on those guys. The overhead swipe of that sword has got some serious range on it. And if you swipe at the air like I was just doing, they'll punish you for it. Like I say, a lot easier to deal with though than, say, on the original game you would have had Death Adder at this point. Obviously, the way he swung his axe and used his magic, those magic blasts through the floor, he could basically get you from above and below when you were trying to creep up on him like I'm doing. So, nowhere near as bad. Got him then because he used his shield rather than his sword. Not too troubling, but still a pain in the arse. And then on to the final boss. No real introduction, here he is. But again, we'll store up these magic. What he does is, rather than just use magic, he throws the skeletons around and then uses magic independently. Doesn't actually need to knock it to the floor. Thankfully, I could give it back. Good thing is, by giving you skeletons, if you can't reach him at the edge of the screen there, you can at least grab the skeletons and throw them at him. As you saw him do there, just because I was stupid enough not to get near enough to him. This fight can actually be more problematic with two people, because there's I think you get a few more skeletons on screen at once to deal with. I didn't really want to get him in that corner, really. Ugh. Have it. Like I say, nowhere near as imposing or... I mean, he looks good, but nowhere near as scary as Deathbringer on the original. You haven't even got scary enough music to match. And he's not nearly as dangerous either. But the invincible skeletons are the biggest problem when fighting Deathbringer. But, not far off. That's it. Done it. And that's Golden Axe 2. Like I say, not as long, not as tricky as the original. But still, a worthy entry in the series. For any of you who haven't played this before, by the way, I will just quickly show you after the credits play. I will just quickly show you one or two tricks you can do for this game if you want to play it yourself and you find that you suck.
You suck.
Weirdly, the background music on this, I don't know if you can just about hear that. Sounds like the backing track for the opening music of Streets of Rage. So, if anyone wants to put a vote in, by the way, for what game I play next, one of the ones I teased out, I talked about doing GG Shinobi on the Game Gear, because obviously you can play it up on big screen on here, and I can play that really well with the arcade controls. So one of the best entries in the Shinobi series, full stop, considering it was just a handheld game. Never got to grips too much with the sequel of it, but the Game Gear game's very unique. Borrows a lot from Revenge of Shinobi on the Megadrive in terms of the magics and things that you can do. But you've got several different ninjas you can actually activate and pick from at any one time once you've rescued them. So you've got a range of power-ups that you can use. Anyway, yeah, that's the ending. So yeah, I'll quickly, well, you get the idea from the ending anyway. I'm going to quickly reset the game and I'm just going to show you a major trick that I didn't use for that run. I don't even know why I bothered using the 8 continues thing, because I ended up using, what was it, 1 in the end? 2, probably 2 actually on the last boss. So the major glitch on this is a trick called the overflow glitch. And the way that works is it exploits a bug in the way that the magic system works. So I'll go and be Axe Battler for this. Obviously, you can actually have the classic magic system on this. You can have it so you just tap the button and it activates your full magic. But because you've got this controllable magic meter where you can hold the button down, and because of the way it actually calculates that and decides what magic to use, you can actually exploit that at the end of stage 1, and you can beat this game without even needing to break a sweat. And it's in every version of the game, so it's in the Japanese, American and the English version. And so I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that if you've never seen it before, and you get some quite interesting results actually if you mess around with it, especially if you've got 2 players active. It's quite cool. So we're going to fill up the magic. Quickly try and get to the end of stage 1 if I can. Quite cool actually. He's still got his shoulder barge on this, but you can see he's got a wider blade swipe. Still got the shoulder barge. Still a little bit stronger than Tyrus, but his back attack is that, which is not great, because you have to kind of, it leaves you open if you miss. Or if there's no one behind you, the other person can get up and quickly kick your ass. But again, just gives a bit of variety, I suppose. Makes it a bit different from the first one. So I'm filling up with the magic here. I've got one more book to collect from him, yeah. As with the first one, just enough to give him full magic on stage 1, with him being the middle ground in terms of magic power. And then what we're going to do is just before the final boss, the second the music fades and it kind of freezes on screen for a second, what we're going to do is we're going to start charging our magic. And then what we're going to do is I'm not going to release that. So I'll just beat these guys. Attempt to anyway. That's 1, that's 2. And now what I'm going to do, second the music starts, now I'm holding magic, and you can see at the bottom they've all lit up in white because I'm just holding the magic button down. This obviously a lot easier to do on an arcade control panel because I can just put one finger on one button and then just use my other 2 or 3 fingers to hit jump or attack. If you've got the dragon, it makes it slightly easier. But I'll probably lose him very shortly, but I'm not letting go of that button at all. If you let go, it basically kills the trick. So I'm just going to try and dash attack him to death. And then the second it fades to black, we just let go of the button. And now rather than attack these wizards here, we just stand still, do nothing for the rest of the cutscene. So you can see that even though they've stolen my 2 books and I've only got level 2 magic, what will happen is when this cutscene ends and we go to the start of a stage, he'll do a special kind of magic. It's kind of paused the ability to do magic, but it's still counting. And but what it's done is it's kind of adjusted the numerical figure to trick the game. So when the cutscene fades in just a second, you'll see, I ain't touching the controls, he'll use his magic on nothing. And if you now look at the bottom of the screen, you can see we've got all this crazy magic meter going on. Now what you can do here is basically you've got an infinite amount of magic, so I can hold that and just keep using level 2, 3, 4 magic as many times as I want. But there is a problem. If you hold the button down too long, that meter will continue to fill. The second you let go of the button, the game will crash. It'll soft lock, and the only thing you can do is reset it. But what you can do, if you time it just right, is if I let my magic meter go just over the top there, just past number 4, what it will do is it will try to start using the magic for the next character in the binary code, which I believe after him should be Gilius. So if I power up and use 6 blocks of magic, it should use the lightning magic. Sorry, it's actually like thunder magic, I think it is on this. So you got like a rock fall thing for Gilius. So let's try it anyway. No, he's the last in the line. I stand corrected. If I'd have been Gilius first, I think Tyrus comes afterwards, and then he comes last in the line. I couldn't remember which way around it was. So I've soft locked it here, but if I'd have been Tyrus or Gilius and held it on past there, I could have used either of the other 2 characters' magic specials whenever I want to as well. So, but that's the risk you run, and obviously if you're in the heat of gameplay, you don't want to risk doing that if you just got made it all the way to the boss. But anyway, there's a tip for you if you want to use that. So if you want to use that when you play the game, watch the video back, take notes, and just copy what I did. So anyway, that was Golden Axe 2 for the Mega Drive. Hope you enjoyed that. Leave some suggestions as to what games I'll do next. Otherwise, it probably will just be GG Shinobi another day. Might not be tomorrow, might be the day after yet, I'm not sure. But I will come back 2-3 times a week while we're on lockdown, and hopefully just stream for half hour or an hour, just to show you some of my favourite games and how to get through them. But anyway, take it easy, guys. Leave any comments or suggestions, and I'll see you all soon.